What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Hope you can get that like. Hope you can get that subscribe. If so, you hit those recording buttons down below. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. But today is a good day if this is the first day you're jumping on, because we're going to be getting into Daredevil Season 2, Episode 1. Some interesting things setting up for the rest of the season, and we'll see how this particular series goes. I know that the last season was a bit of a mixed bag. Mainly, a lot of it had to do with them switching out creative teams during the season. And so I'm hoping that the creative team that they ended up bringing in last year, near the end of last year, continues, because in the first season of this renewed resurgence of Daredevil, because now officially him and the Defenders are in the MCU, it started off a little wonky, but let's hope that it settles down a little bit with this season. And this season brings us Charlie Cox as Matthew, aka Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, Deborah Ann Woll as Karen Page, Nick James as Kirsten, the law partner of Matt that they started last year, the law firm. She's been running it in his absence. Ayelet Zur is Vanessa. Genya Walton is BB Ulrich. Margarita Leviva, Leva Eva is Heather, Matt's girlfriend from season 1. And let's not forget about Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, aka Matthew Lillard, Scooby Doo's best friend, one of the killers from Scream. Man, this guy has been making his mark in horror, and now he's going to attempt to show us what he can bring to the superhero world. He is. We'll get into him. The season end episode starts off with Matthew attacking a boat that's coming into the harbors of New York City. Presumably because there is a shipment for the Kingpin on this particular shipping vessel. And as Matthew's going through the boat, taking out the various enemies, he finds ultimately what he's looking for. And that's the shipment of guns that Wilson Fisk is having bring into New York City. But what has happened, the disruption by Daredevil, made the captain start sinking the boat, right? Him and his first mate left. And before they left, he was said, this was what was told to me, to sink the ship if Daredevil or anybody was to try to get on this ship, okay? To sink it. So he sinks it, but it doesn't go down all the way, creating a bunch of police officers and probably federal agents to come and figure out what's going on here. And that's not good for Wilson, because this is part of his business. This is his. Yes, mayor is being his business, but that's because the grander business needs him to be in a position of power to skirt some of the paperwork that needs to be done normally when these type of things happen. Excuse me. So he winds up, him and his aide, so to speak, him and his errand boy make a call, and we'll meet a character by the name of Mr. Charles, played by Matthew Lillard, in a little bit. We pick up with Karen and Matthew. Both are doing their part to find information on Wilson without directly going against him, trying to do these side deals, trying to do these covert missions, if you will, right? Matthew may be more boots to the ground. Karen's more the covert spy type of person, getting information from people, using her clever little ways for people to open up and give her something to go on here, right? And she's proven herself to be a protector of the people, right? The protector of the informant trying to help the populace for its greater good, okay? And basically, these are their roles and what they're viewing as their roles in Hell's Kitchen, trying to be the saviors of Hell's Kitchen, trying to save not only their neighborhood but New York State as much as they can, because at the end of the day, Matthew is a badass for sure, but there's only so much he can do. He's not like a Thor or anything like that. So he's got to stay more locally, so to speak, to help out. But they both still miss Foggy. Obviously, there's a scene where they bring up Foggy and they take a few minutes to remember him and to remember what his views of what good was, because he had a wholesome heart. He wasn't really one to buck on his morals or ethics. He was the heart and soul, even though Matthew was the body of Daredevil, right? He had the initial idea of Daredevil, and Karen was maybe the hope of what Daredevil can be for the people around him. Foggy was the heart of the three friends. He was the heart that kept them all in check at the end of the day. Like, no, this is not the right way to do it. We do it this way. And so that really still lingers for these two friends, now lovers again, because they are together. We see Karen even getting some of her wigs in the back and stuff like that, but they're laying low. They're laying low in the city of Manhattan because essentially, if Wilson Fisk finds out where they are, he's going to try to take them out, no doubt about it, right? But meanwhile, Kingpin has to call in to kind of state that, what's going on with the shipment, so to speak, and he gets connected with a Mr. Charles, played by Matthew Lillard, who works for some organization that we don't know yet. He wears a ring of theirs that all members of this group must wear. But here's the deal. He's higher up in the food chain than even Kingpin is. Because Kingpin's asking for help and they're sending this guy. And he comes in during a mayoral daily meeting in the morning, and everyone's kind of like, all right, who the heck is this guy? And Wilson is like, I called him in. And he's from Langley, okay? That's where I think the CIA headquarters is located. And then someone else who was there with the lieutenant governor kind of questioning who he is. And he was like, you're going to get a phone call. And he gets a phone call, and then he's like, all right, Mr. Fisk, everything's in order. And basically, we realize that Matthew Lillard's character is going to hold some higher point of positioning over Wilson. We'll see how long that lasts, because even when they had a meeting in his penthouse later on that day with Vanessa, I love you. Don't do this. They're getting their courtesies out of the way, but ultimately, Matthew Lillard's character, Mr. Charles, still makes it very clear that he's kind of the one in charge, right? And so we're going to see a very interesting dynamic between Fisk and Mr. Charles here, because Wilson isn't too used to relying on other people's position to protect him, you know. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how that dynamic works between him and Fisk. Is Mr. Charles going to come across Daredevil? We'll find out, right? So that's with that. BB is still doing her Woman on the Streets gig, doing interviews about how people feel about New York City and stuff. And she is the leading suspect in um, a puppet show that is being sent out to the internet. And it's basically the Kingpin as a puppet, or well, not as a puppet, but as a mask. And the person is talking about all the quote unquote great things they're doing, but it's really like the bad things they're doing and stuff like that. The initial theory is that it's BB Ulrich doing this underground videos of Wilson Fisk while still trying to act like she's on Wilson Fisk's side and continuing her one woman show, so to speak. She's getting information from Gandolfini's character, the lieutenant governor. I think he is now the technically the lieutenant governor, and he's telling her like, oh, how Wilson helped him with the apartment he's in Manhattan, because if he didn't, it would be relatively so expensive he wouldn't even be able to like sniff the air in there and stuff like that. And she even admits in a conversation later on in the episode with Karen Page is that he's an okay guy. There's nothing romantic that's going to happen between them. We'll see. But she more is upset that he's not realizing kind of the position he's really putting himself in deeper and deeper here with Fisk, because he is a genuine guy trying to do genuine good, and he thinks that by the power that Wilson Fisk has, that he can maybe attain that level of power and respect, but he's not realizing what it's going to cost him at the end. And to go from such a decent guy to, like, when you didn't necessarily have to do that, it's going to be a tragedy for the character. Because Wilson Fisk was broken as a child. There wasn't much more that could have happened to him that what he did that could save him, so to speak. He's already, by the time he hit this age that Gandolfini's character is at, right, he's already way gone past anything of wanting to not do anything bad. Here, Gandolfini's character is like not really realizing what he's getting himself into fully, because he's living such a fun life now. But BB sees it and feels a little bad for him. But at the same time, she's trying to get information on Wilson because of the death of Ben and other people around the city and stuff. Everything that Wilson has done, she's trying to undo that in her investigative journalism. Karen and her, as they're talking near the end, Karen feels like that Kingpin was the one that took Ben out, and that she's got to continue. Even if she didn't want to continue, she'll continue because of the price that Ben paid. He paid with his life. So the only good thing to do for that is to continue trying to take down Wilson. You know what I mean? Whatever you do after that is then on you, but at least you helped. At least you got Ben's killer behind bars. If anything, like for your own, even if it was for your own personal win, so to speak, right? Well, at least I got him off the streets because Ben protected me, and now that I'm here, I'm going to make sure that he pays for that crime and taking away my friend, right? I'm going to make sure that even if I got to go down too, I know if I go down, he went down too, and you catch what I'm meaning, right? So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to see how much BB really puts herself in because she's seen Karen do it she's not real. I don't think she realizes that Matt is Daredevil. I have to go back on that and see if she figured that out. But she's entrenched in this now. Okay, BB is. We got Kirsten, Matt's lawyer partner. She's running the firm without Matthew's help. Matthew hasn't been around. Again, they've been laying low, him and Karen Page. So she's trying her best to continue the good fight on her own end, helping people who may not have money or resources to good lawyers. So she is continuing that good fight, and we'll see what her story leads into for the end of the season. The psychiatrist that Matt was dating last season and now seems to be working for the Kingpin, she's seeing images of Muse. She's allowing the Kingpin and his cronies to manipulate her into creating false psych reports. For instance, she's making a psych report on the swordsman, right? But she's being asked to change her answers so it can look like he's more of a psycho, like a weirdo, when he's really not. He's just a guy trying to save the city, so to speak, or trying to protect people. Maybe not in your conventional way, but he's definitely not delusional in what he's trying to do. He's definitely not like a crazy in the regards of he's going to hurt people that are innocent. But, you know, the Kingpin is trying to put these vigilantes away forever in some secluded prison that no one knows. That's one of the missions that Matt and Karen are trying to figure out, where they're keeping these people. So there's a lot of things going on with her seeing Muse. The running theory at the moment is that she'll become the second Muse because of the lingering trauma that is in her head. We'll see. That's pretty much where we're at right now and what's getting set up for the rest of the season. At the end of this episode, Matt was getting his butt kicked by the rogue cop division that Wilson has going on. However, Bullseye saves him at the end, and we don't know it's Bullseye. We just see a flying metal dagger go through the air, a couple of them hitting the cops, and as Matt's coming back, because it was Matt knocked out, and the cop that was helping his lawyer partner, he's having a heart attack and passes out. That's when Bullseye takes out the cops. Matt gets up, he looks at the dagger and sees that's Bullseye on there, and that's where the episode ends. So we're getting Bullseye again. I'm sure we're getting Punisher again at some point this season. We'll see. We're definitely getting the Defenders. Jessica Jones is lurking around somewhere, but that's where we're at with the end of episode 1. Let me know what you think of this episode. I think it was pretty good. I'll give this like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. You know, and it just a standalone thing of like it was a good episode, and it's setting up the stories for the rest of the year, so to speak. I can't wait to see what this show has in store for us in the next few months, but only time will tell. That's what I got for you today. Have a great day, and until next time, peace, Snookums.